welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Florette. You already know what time it is. Make sure to click that subscribe button and that like button below. Today we're doing a review of Ready to Love season 4 episode 4 and 5. So yeah, tune in and let me know what you think below. Whew. Listen, I've got cue cards and everything because there's a lot to talk about in these two episodes. Anyways, so episode 4 starts off with Alexis and Troy having a tough talk. So Alexis invites Troy out for a little meal, a little drink or something like that, and she has a really tough talk with him about basically how he's trying to make everybody his number one. He's trying to take everybody out, you know, on some fancy vacation somewhere in another country and whatnot. Let me tell you something. I've already said this on the first episode, is that Troy reads phony to me. I don't know if other women can read this, but when I look at Troy, I'm like, you come across like you're fake. He's the kind of guy that fakes the funk, okay? He's not genuine, and he's not there to find love. He's there to find another chick to add to his roster of the women that he sleeps with and he goes on dates with. That's what he is. Troy is 51 years old and he's been an eternal bachelor. Most men at that age are gonna be bachelors forever. That's just in them. I'm sorry. Like, a man in his 50s ain't trying to change for nobody. I tell you right now, for the most part. Okay, moving on. Okay, so KG or whatever and Amber go on a date. They go boxing, and she then tells him that she works for the DA, and they sort of connect because they have like similarities when it comes to, like, you know, like finding their siblings, da 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 da. I mean, personally for me, I find both of them quite boring. Like, KG is boring to me and Amber is boring to me, and both of them are very boring to listen to. Like, two people who shouldn't be on TV are KG and Amber. Their dates are just like boring and cheap and just nothing to me. So I'm just like, anyways. So now we move on to Stacy and David go on this date, and Stacy is teaching David, was it Pilates or something like that? It looked really good. I need to learn Pilates. So they're having a little conversation, and she's, you know, back and forth, like jokes and whatnot. I mean, from the jump you could tell there's no connection between the two of them. Stacey doesn't look like she's that attracted to David. David doesn't look like he's that feeling her either. I mean, the two of them, it kind of looks like a forced date to me personally. Then they go into this conversation about passwords and whatnot. So David says that he would like to have access to the woman that he's with, he's married to. He would like to have access to her phone, like access to her bank. I didn't say bank account, but he wants transparency. That was the words he used, basically, to be able to be like, yo, if I want to use your phone, I could use your phone. There's no like, why are you using my phone? Use your own phone. That's how I interpreted what David said. But Stacey didn't take it that way. She kind of took offense to it, and she didn't really agree with what he was saying because she just felt like he does need to go and heal. I mean, David has mentioned that his ex-wife, his second ex-wife, left him, and she kind of just ghosted him, which is deep, because how you ghosting your own husband, that's deep. And apparently there's a podcast out there where she's talking about this whole shenanigans and whatnot. It's not nice, and I think David is still hurt by that, but David needs to go somewhere and find healing. Like, he needs to go on a retreat. He needs to take like a year to find himself, you know, counseling, therapy, shoot, anything, a joint, I don't know, basically, because he needs to get over that whole situation that he was in, his whole marriage that he was in, and the way she left him. And I get it, like, if a woman just leaves you, ups and leaves you, and this is not just a girlfriend, this is a wife, she just ups and leaves you, I understand how that could be traumatizing, but we need you to move on, okay, from that. Anyways, so now there's a double date. AJ and Liz go on a double date. And they have this conversation about abstinence. Obviously, Liz is abstinent, David is abstinent as well. AJ isn't. AJ does find her attractive. I think Liz finds AJ. I think everyone finds AJ attractive. And they're having this conversation, but it's clear that because of her spiritual beliefs, they will never be on the same page unless he's abstinent. And this is something that most people should know. Like, if you're abstinent, you need to date someone who's also abstinent, because all that does is create frustration and pressure on people in the relationship. If one person is abstaining, the other person isn't. Someone has to go to the other person's side. It's either you're going to be forced into abstinence, or you're going to be forced into coming out of abstinence. So that doesn't make sense. And as cute as maybe AJ and Liz look, I just feel like you lot will not make it, because someone has to give in. Somebody has to give in. And I wouldn't encourage Liz to give in for AJ. AJ is not worth it, honey. He's not worth it. Okay. And I think they were on a date with Jason and Alexis. I can't really remember this episode, too tough. They were on a date with Jason and Alexis, but like, you know, Jason ain't feeling Alexis. We know that from the jump. For when she said, oh, he's my son's coach and this and that and blah blah blah, and I was like, girl, if he was feeling you from when you were he's your son's coach, he would have checked you. He would have been like, yo, what's up, let me talk to you, I want to take you out, I want to be like. A man doesn't need 5 years, 6 years, 25 years for him to tell you that he's interested in you. And this whole thing that Jason is using, this whole excuse of like, oh, it's because I can't see her past her being like my one of my students' mother. It's like, teachers and student parents, or parents of the students, have affairs all the time. This is nothing new. They hook up, like, things happen. Jason's not interested in Alexis. He's not attracted to her, which is a lot coming from him, because, you know, he ain't a prize. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so we're moving on to Chrysanthemum and Ron, or as Ron says her name, Chrysanthemum. So they go on a date and they have a whole vibe. I mean, their date was really, really cute. They were playing Connect 4 and whatnot, and it was really, really sweet. They had a really good conversation, and I think Chrysanthemum, when she's by herself, she really opens up, and like, you really see the softer side to her. Because when she first came on, she just came on like a tough girl, like G.I. Jane or something. But like now it's like, you know, on that date, she was really opening up that she's very traditional. I wouldn't have thought she would be traditional. I actually would have thought Chrysanthemum would be more of like a modern day woman, to be like, I want my own money, my own stuff, you know, everything of my own. I didn't think she would be like, oh, I want to have a husband and him pay for everything, and then I'm gonna be at home and being a housewife. I didn't think that would be her steez, but that's what she's into, which is different. And she comes to life when she's by herself. So I definitely liked their little date. I thought their date was very, very cute, and I thought in that moment I was like, oh, you guys would make a cute couple. But my mind has changed. So these two are my favorite. This is my favorite couple. Liz and David go on a little date, and they really open up on this date. So, you know, they talk about growing up being very shielded. Like David talks about, he was very shielded as when he was growing up, which is crazy to now to be like, you were so shielded growing up, but now you're like possibly on your third marriage. You know what I mean? Sometimes some of these Christian families, you know, you shield your kids too much, to whereby you need to let them make a few mistakes so they can learn from their mistakes. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you shield them too much and they make big mistakes much later on in their lives. Like David shouldn't be on his third marriage, and that's not a knock on him, but just because like he is a good guy, he comes across as a good guy, he comes across as, you know, but there's probably things he's lacking because he was so shielded. You know, these Christian families, sometimes they do too much with shielding their kids from everything. You need to let your kids go out there and get bruised up a little bit so they can learn some things about life. So they have a really, really good moment, and they talk about their upbringing, very similar upbringing. There's a whole vibe, there's a whole like love, wedding bells. I'm like, ooh, I like them two together. I think they, especially because they're both abstinent, I think it makes sense for you guys to date than him date another woman who isn't abstinent, that's gonna make him feel crap because he's not abstaining. And same thing with her, it doesn't make sense for her to date anybody else because nobody else in that group is abstinent apart from David and Liz. So it makes sense for them to be together. So I'm just gonna cut it short. I mean, it was a good episode, but it wasn't amazing. The next episode's amazing. So everybody is having a conversation. They go back to the ladies' lounge, and they have this conversation about who they're feeling, who they're not feeling. Kyra says she ain't feeling David, even though Kyra hasn't been on a date with David. So I mean, Kyra as well, I'm not gonna lie to you, every time I see Kyra, I just see her with AJ. Like, Kyra, have you dated someone else on this team, in this group? Have you tried to date someone else? Even Drederick or Jedrick, whatever his name is, it's like, who else do you date? And like, no one's really feeling him. KG, no one's really trying to date KG. Like, no one, he hasn't been on another date with anyone apart from Amber. No one's feeling KG. Let's be frank. Broke self. So this is the bit I did not like, right? So they go back to this ladies' lounge and they're having a conversation, and then like, so Stacy talks about her date with David, and she tells the girls like, oh, David said this and David said that, but she completely misconstrued what he said and completely exaggerated what he said. He said he wants transparency. She goes back and relays the message like he wants to be controlling, he wants to control everything, which was not what David said. And to me, when she said that, I was like, you shouldn't even be on this team, you shouldn't even be in this group, because you're not serious, because you're moving like this is high school, okay? Because to me, what she did was so childish. That's not what he said, and that's not the energy that he put out. He put it out like, I just want transparency. He didn't put it out like, I want to see your bank account details, I want to see your IG password. Like, he just wants transparency. Like, if I want to go on your phone and like call my mom, that's okay. And I don't see anything wrong with that, but Stacey completely misconstrued what he said and really explained it in the wrong, with the wrong energy. So, you know, David ended up being in the bottom two. It was him and Troy, and then in the end, Troy was sent home. Troy should have been sent home first episode, second episode, like, for real. The fact that he skated through all the way to episode 4 is amazing to me. But yeah, Troy gets sent home, and he definitely needs to be sent home because he's inappropriate and he's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. So OWN really saved themselves by sending Troy home. Okay. Okay, so this is episode 5. Episode 5 for me has probably been my favorite episode this whole season, just because we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of things. And so yeah, I'm really liking episode 5. So let's dive into episode 5. So we start off with AJ, Kyra, Jason and Alexis go on a double date. See, Jason seems to always go on these double dates, and there's something about that screams that either insecure or just something, like a man who doesn't want to be alone with a woman that he's interested in. I think he's only been on one single date, which was with Kyra, where she said he was cute. He was cute. Ever since then, he's always on these double dates. He's always like a wingman. So yeah, they go on these dates, and wait, let me read my notes. So Kyra and AJ have a little, you know, a little conversation as they're skating, or they go ice skating. So they go ice skating. And Kyra and AJ are having like a, you know, a one-to-one, and like she's really starting to feel him. Like, honestly, of all the men that's there, AJ is her type. She's already dated AJ in the past. AJ's her type, and nobody else on that cast looks like AJ. So I don't see Kyra really forming any types of connections with anyone apart from AJ, because I think he's her type. Although some of the other guys do find her attractive, she don't find them attractive. She likes that beard, she likes that bald head, she likes that dark skin, and I don't blame her. AJ is like, he's good looking, you know what I'm saying? He's a little snack or whatever, but like, to me, he's just such a red flag. When I look at him, I'm just like, ugh, because he lied, and just, I don't know. But yeah, they have a little moment, and you can tell she's really like, her walls are coming down, and she's, you know, she's starting to feel him a little bit, whatever. Anyways, Jason and Alexis, again, they've been on so many dates on this show. The amount of dates they've been on lets you know that no one's trying to date Jason. Because it's like, from the jump, he's kind of made it clear that he's not that interested in Alexis. But he's been on like 4 dates with her. It's like, how come you haven't gone on a date with Renisha? How come you haven't gone on a date with Chrysanthemum? Stacey, like, he hardly dates them other girls. He's just dating Alexis. That lets you know that them other girls, when he's hollering at them, they're like, no thank you. Lord have mercy on Jason. So he then finally tells Alexis that, you know what, I'm not really trying to be that with you. I'm not trying to date you because I don't see you in that way, because I just look at you as my student's mother. And listen, she's just not his type. That's literally what it is. And he finds Kyra attractive. And if you look at Kyra, you look at Alexis, they're both beautiful women, but they're both very different. You know, Kyra is like thick, curvy, you know, and she's a little more laid back, whereas Alexis, she's more like, look at me. She's more of an attention seeker, which says a lot about her personality as well, that maybe she didn't get enough attention growing up. Women who seek attention tend to get really tiring after a while. You know, there's a difference between a woman who gets attention and a woman who seeks attention and gets it. The difference between Kyra and Alexis. Okay, he wants Kyra, but she was paying him no mind. She was over there with AJ and holding his hand, stroking his bald head. Okay, so Ron invites, let me tell you something. Ron gets on my nerves. I don't know, from the first episode of Ron, there was something about him that just comes across also just like when I think of Ron, I'm like so Ron invites Stacey over to his house for a date. And he said, oh, he found it, you know, I like the fact that the date was very, like, he thought about it, because he heard she likes seafood, so he brought some food, like some salmon, I think it was, or something. And he brought out the Veuve Clicquot. Come on, he bought that Veuve. Now listen, that's how you make an impression, okay, KG? That's how you make an impression. Okay, none of these cheap dates you keep taking this girl to. That's how you make an impression. A man finds out what you like and then like presents it. Okay, I give Ron that. I'm gonna give him that. Okay, so that date was really, really cute. So they were sitting there talking, and I mean, Stacey, she's such a, I'm sorry, she's such an airhead. She doesn't even pay attention to the moment. She's there talking about, oh, I heard that you know, Chrysanthemum is your number one, and this person is your number one, Alexis is your number one. Let me tell you something. The one thing I would never do, and I don't do, is go on a date with a man that I'm interested in and sit there and talk about another female. Okay, I'm not doing that. We're gonna talk about me, we're gonna talk about you, we're gonna talk about us. What I'm not gonna do is sit there and be like, oh, I heard you like this other girl. I may have heard that you like another girl, but I'm gonna show up to let you know that you like this girl more than you like that girl. Okay, so I'm not gonna sit and talk to you about, you know, Stacey, Tracy, and all them other girls. I'm gonna sit and talk to you about me and you. So like Tracy in that moment, or Stacey, sorry, in that moment, she completely lost the moment. Because like, he bought seafood for you. He was thoughtful enough to think about what you like. He bought that Veuve. Are you mad? And you're sitting there talking about Chrysanthemum and Alexis. Like, I don't talk about other females with a man that I'm interested in unless we're talking about your mom, your grandma, or your sister. The only females I'm going to talk about. Anybody outside of them three, I don't care. I don't care. And I don't want to hear about them. Okay, sorry. So this whole freaking frat thing came about now because of that, because apparently Alexis and Chrysanthemum have formed this bond, which to me is ridiculous, because you came on the show to find a man, not to find a female best friend. So what are you doing? This is how women shoot themselves in the foot. Okay, this is how the connection you have with Chrysanthemum, you're supposed to be connecting with a man like that. What are you doing? Anyways, but then Ron starts his lying, because he's a liar. Okay, Ron's a liar, and he's gonna show that he's a big time liar. So he sits there. He's already told Chrysanthemum in the last episode that she's his number one. Then he tells Stacey she's his number one. Then later on he's gonna tell Alexis that she's the number one. But obviously Ron's playing a game. Okay, the game is chess, not checkers. And that's what it is. Ron is playing a game. But I find it frustrating because I just feel like Ron isn't a catch like that. But he's playing a game, and he has all these women just talking about each other, and they're all fighting for him, because Alexis fighting for him, Stacey fighting for him, Chrysanthemum fighting for him. Look at that. Well, you should be there like, I'm not gonna fight no female for you, because if you want me, come and get me, you know? That's what I would do anyways. So now, KG takes Amber on another cheap date. Let me tell you something. I've never seen a man take a woman on so many cheap dates in my life. On TV. He's over here taking it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cheap dates. I'm just like, what? So he takes on another cheap date where they have a meditation in someone's backyard. Today I am strong. Today I am healthy. Today you're still broke. Today you're still cheap. These cheap dates. He takes her on a cheap date, and this is the thing I've realized about Amber as well, is that she's conforming to suit KG. That's what she's doing. She's conforming to suit him. You know what I mean? She knows she don't want no cheap. She works for the DA. She's banking. Okay? She's banking. Okay? She's making money. She's a lawyer. She's banking. Okay? She don't want to be taking on no cheap date, but she is conforming because she thinks that KG is the best she can do. Sis, look around that team, that group. There's other men out there. Amber hasn't even dated other men. She didn't even, like, I feel like Amber could do well with Jason. Amber maybe should get, you know, get with Drederick or Dedrick. She get with him, old man, but it doesn't matter. I mean, KG's an old man. But anyways, it's like, why don't you get with one of them? She is conforming because she wants to impress this guy. Let me tell you something. When you are not being true to yourself, in the end, you're the one that's going to be burnt, because he's going to be true to himself. And if his truths don't match up with yours, you need to let that go. Okay, so she's sitting there. They have this meditation date. Then they start talking about whatever the heck they keep talking. Because all their days, all they do is talk. They don't eat. They don't do nothing. They just talk. Because it's cheap to talk. It's free to talk. They're sitting there talking, and then he basically says he doesn't want marriage. You know, like, why is that the end goal? Let me tell you something. When a man says he doesn't want marriage, it's because he doesn't want the burden of being a husband. Because when you become a husband, there are responsibilities that you have, and you have to uphold. Your family is counting on you. KG don't want that. Okay, he wants a girlfriend. Anytime he can just walk out your life. Okay, he doesn't want the financial responsibilities of a husband. So then Amber's over there like, yeah, but you want like a committed relationship, a long-term committed relationship. Listen, he just wants you to be his girlfriend until the day he drops dead, and he's gonna keep taking you to the park and people's backyards, and you guys can go meditate in there. He's putting little effort in, okay? And the effort a man makes at the beginning, really and truly, is how much he's interested in you. And honestly, I think KG knows that them other chicks on this team, on this group, ain't interested in him, okay? So he's gonna settle with the one with the lowest self-esteem, which is Amber, okay? And Amber she reads young. She comes across like she just graduated high school, and she's a whole lawyer. Like, she's finished law school. So it's just like, I don't know. And she's over there compromising her beliefs of like marriage and all those kind of things because she wants to be impressed. She wants to impress KG or KJ, whatever. I'm like, sis, let him go. His bony face. That's why he's so skinny, because he don't eat that much because he can't afford to. Ron is hosting a salsa. Let me say something. There's nothing Ron can't do. He does everything. He buries people. He sells caskets. He does everything. He does salsa on the side. Let me tell you something. Ron, there's nothing he can't do. Whatever you want. Ron has a business and he does it. Okay, so they go to a salsa class. Venetia and Joelle have a little moment where they're all doing a little class, whatever. But this is the best part. So Venetia and Joelle, have dancing. Really and truly, the way Joel looks at Venetia, I don't think he's interested in a relationship with Venetia. I think Joel just wants to have someone to have sex with, because maybe since his wife died, he hasn't smashed because he feels guilty, and maybe he feels like if I get into like a kind of like a relationship and I smash, it's okay because I'm with this woman, then it doesn't feel like I'm cheating. That's what I get from him, because the way he looks at her, the way his hands was on her hips and this and that, it's way too touchy-feely, it's way too much. And he does that. I think he just wants to have sex with her, honestly, and I don't want to get demonetized. I think he just wants to sleep with her, honestly, because also when he says something about, oh, this is the woman that I want to be with right now, that didn't make sense. It's like, are you not here to find your forever love? Like, why is she your right now woman? That doesn't make sense. So when he said that, I realized that, yeah, he ain't serious about Venetia. He just finds her attractive because she's curvy, she's gorgeous, she's got beautiful face, gorgeous skin, nice hair, like she's fabulous. He just wants to have sex with her, he just wants to sleep with her, and that's it. You know, once he's done that, he's not going to be that interested in her, which then goes to show you that Joel and Troy, same energy, except Troy was more blatant with it. Joel was not as blatant with it, but Joel and Troy, same energy. Because I kept peeping how every time he would hug Venetia, his hand was like on her butt, and I just felt like isn't that inappropriate? You know, he's same energy, him and Troy, same energy, I'm telling you, but Troy was more blatant with it. Ron and Chris doing a little salsa over there, dancing, vibes in. What are they doing? Talking about other people. I'm sick and tired of this BS. Chris, you're here trying to find a husband and you're talking to this man about another woman. I'm over it. I'm not even going to give it too much because that whole conversation was dumb. It was unnecessary. You should have been in there showing off your salsa move, wiggling your hips, moving, you know, doing a little thing, you understand? Okay, that's what I would have been doing. Sure, I'm not even going to talk about another female. I'm going to give you this spice. You're going to forget them other chicks. That's what I would have done. So that whole thing was trash. Dedrick and Tressa, of course, they were over there doing the little dance and singing dance. Boring. Now we move on to the next day. So Dedrick takes Tressa to a spice store and they start talking about different African spices and blah blah blah. And he talked to her about some spice from Africa, I forgot what it was called. And then she was like, oh, you put this in fufu? And let me say something, when they cut to her confessional, she's wearing earrings with the map of Africa. Let me tell you something, if you're gonna be doing that, wearing things with the map of Africa, I'm gonna need you to know a little something something. She said spice that you put in fufu. Are you okay? I'm not even gonna dwell on that too tough, okay? I'm not gonna dwell on that too tough. But that was very ignorant. That was very ignorant, but we move. So he wasn't really feeling the vibe with her in that store. Nobody's feeling the vibe with her. And honestly, like I said in my first video, and now, I honestly believe it's her size. A lot of these men don't want a big girl. That's what they all like. I'm not attracted to her. Why are you not attracted to her? She's got a pretty face. She's got good energy. Why are you not attracted to her? I honestly believe it's because of her size. They don't want her because of her size. And she even said it. She said it seems as though men will want to sleep with a big girl, but they don't want trying to wife a big girl, you know. And I wonder why. I actually wonder why that is, because that's quite disturbing, because I feel like women date big boys, like big old boys, and women, I know some girls like that. They want to be buried underneath all of that. I don't know, I felt bad for her, you know. I felt bad for her. The whole date was just not good. I mean, Dedrick, the way he was standing with his hands crossed, it was like, the energy you're giving her is just not good energy anyway. So, not here for it. But we move. Now, this video is getting a little bit too long, but listen to me. It's worth it. Okay, so now, yeah, we're moving on to the ball. This is the best part. This is the best part. This is why this is my favorite episode of this season so far, because of this masquerade ball that they went to. I loved it. It was gorgeous. A little bit eyes wide shut, but it was good. It was a good ball. I mean, we got Alexis over here always bigging up herself and her sequins and her beads. And Alexis was like, yeah, when I show up, that's why they call me Alexis Flat. Like, every time she talks, it's just like, what are you talking about? That's why they call me Alexis Fly. Because I was like, every outfit you've worn is giving me 2002 vibes. It's giving me House of Darion. It's giving me Sean John. Every time she wears something, it's giving me like baby fat early 2000s. It's like, your outfits are crazy. They just don't make sense. All these beads, all these sequins. I'm just like, are you going to carnival? Are you going to crop over? Where you going? Like all these carnival outfits she's wearing. I'm just like, I'm not here for it. I give Alexis one thing though. She knows how to big herself up. She's got real inner confidence, and I give it to her. I give it to her. If no one else is gonna tell you look fly, you could tell yourself. Anyway, so she goes to the ball, and you know, she's expecting everybody's mouth to be dropped on the ground, and it's like, nobody's mouth dropped to the ground, because we've seen you in your beads and your sequins before. Anyways, Liz came in. Oh Lord, Liz came in, right? Liz came in, and them girls, they were sitting. Them girls were sitting. Okay, she came in and her body was like this. I said, don't sleep on them church girls now. Okay, don't sleep on us church girls. She came in, her body was looking amazing. The color of the dress looks so good on her skin tone, and she's very naturally beautiful anyways. But we've never seen this figure, because she's always over here draped in capes, and she love a cape. She love a good cape. She over here dressed like Superwoman, Catwoman. She came in this gorgeous. I was like, damn. She looks amazing, and everybody thought she looked amazing. That guys who were not paying attention to Liz before were paying attention to Liz now. Okay, they were paying attention to Liz now. She looked amazing. I mean, Jason tried it. Jason tried to go talk to her and be like, yeah, you know, I mean, I never noticed Liz before. Jason is another one. Like, I don't know what it is about Jason, but I'm just like, not feeling Jason. Full of crap. I think also Jason thinks, my impression of Jason is that he thinks that he's better looking than he is. You know what I mean? Like, Jason is an average man. He's very average looking. That's it. Like, he and an AJ. Okay, you and an AJ now. Come on now. That's what Kyra's over there with AJ, because you're not AJ. I mean, David was all over Liz. Oh, everybody thinks we're together, and I want them to think that. I mean, I love David and Liz together. So I like that little moment there. Other people don't like it, but I loved it. I was like, yeah. Because that was him basically establishing territory. Like, yeah, you guys can talk to her, but I spoke to her first. I went up to her, and he's putting a mask on for her, and he was fixing her hair. I said, that's like when a lion pees in an area and says, this is my territory. That's what he was doing. Okay, that's what he was doing. And I liked it. I did like it. And he was all over her. So yeah, the frickin' frack thing continues between Stacey and Chrysanthemum, or Chrysanthemum, as somebody says it. So their whole frickin' frack thing carries on, and everybody's finding it annoying, because, you know, a man doesn't want to feel like he's competing with your friends, because he knows he can't win that. That's why when a man wants to talk to a woman, he approaches her when she's alone, you know, because it's easier, because then you don't have that one girlfriend that's like, who are you? What do you want with my friend? You know, and they do that, like Chrysanthemum and Stacey, and it's like, both of you lot came here to find the man of your dreams, not to find the best friend of your dreams, because then you're on the wrong show. That didn't make sense to me, to be honest with you. It just didn't make sense to me why they were like all over each other, and you're blocking each other's blessings really and truly by doing that. Okay, so there was a bit where like Ron was talking to Chrysanthemum, and then he left her, and then went to speak to Alexis, which kind of bothered Chrysanthemum. But she shouldn't let it bother her. What she should have done is gone and spoken to another guy, and then just like moved on from Ron. Because what Ron is trying to do is play these women against each other, and they don't even understand that he's doing that. And let me tell you something. I'll be damned before a man like Ron be playing any woman. And this is what I don't understand. Chrysanthemum came onto the scene like she was this tough girl. She was, she's no nonsense. You're not gonna mess with her. Ron is playing you. Ron, and he sprayed on hairline. He's playing you. Oh my god. Female out here. Come on. Ron's hairline is sprayed on and he's playing you. Are you serious? I'm sorry. That's just dumb. Let me just... There's no way your hairline is sprayed on and you think you're gonna play me. Are you mad? Are you mad? Anyways, then Ron tells Alexis that she's his first pick. I'm just like, wasn't Stacey your first pick? Wasn't Chrysanthemum your first pick? I'm Ron's first pick and I'm not even on the show. Look at that. So at the end of the episode now, the men gather together and they want to deliberate on who they want to send home. So they're talking back and forth. Stacey's name keeps getting mentioned. Chrysanthemum's name gets mentioned. Like they're not quite sure these two, and then Tressa's name gets mentioned again. So for the second time again, Tressa is in the bottom two again. So the bottom two are Tressa and Chrysanthemum. Who's gonna go home? We don't know who's gonna go home. They're deliberating back and forth, like they don't know who they want to send home, Tressa or Chrysanthemum. And in the end, unfortunately, they both go home. They both go home, and Stacey is really upset because she's there like, oh, I thought I was gonna find the man of my dreams, the man I'm gonna bring home to my kids, and this is gonna be the father for them, and blah blah blah. Well, like, girl, if that was your goal, what are you doing being freaking fracked with Chrysanthemum? Because now you've been kicked off the show and she still has an opportunity to find this dream man. In fact, now she has more chances of being with Ron than you do because you're no longer on the show. Tressa gets kicked off because none of the men are attracted to her. You know, I do feel like they need to put big men in there because like she's the only voluptuous woman in there. I mean, Venetia's a bit voluptuous, but she's not as voluptuous as Tressa. But you need to put, you know, a Rick Ross up in there, a big old boy up in there. Because all these men, the men that they keep putting up on the show are like these athletic 6 foot guys, which is great. But you know, put someone like Rick Ross up in there, okay? And let him get sent home because he's big. Because literally that's what they were doing to Tressa. They sent her home because she's big. Oh, I'm not attracted to her. Why not? She's pretty. So what's the problem? It's her size. And she knows that as well. She knows that as well. So Tressa gets sent home and she gets a little bit emotional. And Drederick is just there. Drederick needs to be sent home next. Because who else is feeling Drederick apart from Tressa? Who else has gone on a date with Drederick apart from Tressa? Nobody. Because nobody's feeling Drederick. And he's another one that his ego is way too big. You think you're way too nice. You think you're Denzel and you're Flavor Flav. That's what it is. But you didn't hear that from me. So thank you for watching my review. If you have watched this whole long video all the way to the absolute end, I appreciate it. May you be blessed. Make sure you share this video with other people around the world. What can I say? What can I say? She's feeling herself, you know? She's feeling herself. And make sure to click that subscribe button and come back next week Monday and tune in for more videos with me where I just talk for the sake of talking. Be beautiful from the inside out.